Okay, we have a developing story for you. Besides Rassie Erasmus saying after Saturday he'll no longer be a Springbok coach, and that one has been playing itself out in the South Gauteng High Court, where the Equality Court was sitting in the matter between Pravin Gordhan and Julius Malema going back last year. Let's go live there now to my colleague Erin Bates, who's been following those proceedings. Erin, very good morning to you again. Well, Judge Sutherland is saying this matter does not fall within the ambit of the Equality Act and dismissing the application by Pravin Gordhan.
Certainly, dismissing that application, including the cost of counsel. What Gordhan wanted here was for EFF leader Julius Malema to pay 150,000 rand to a charity of Gordhan's choice and then also issue a very public apology. That is not going to happen. And as you'll see here in court, the likes of Godrich Gadi of the EFF reviewing the judgment that's just been handed down. He's declined an interview as yet because, of course, he needs to review it, which I too need to do. Sutherland only declaring that order and handing down a paper copy of the judgment. They're in short supply here in the Equality Court sitting in the South Gauteng High Court, so we're all waiting for that emailed judgment copy. But I can reflect on arguments in this matter, Dan, which occurred here in the Equality Court sitting in the South Gauteng High Court.
Before you do that,
Erin,
before you take us to last Thursday, I understand that Judge Sutherland said while the comments made might have been hateful, they don't constitute real hate speech in terms of the Equality Court. Can you remind our viewers what exactly was said last year by Julius Malema when he addressed the EFF supporters outside the State Capture Inquiry venue in Parktown?
Not verbatim, but I can reflect on the gist of what EFF leader Julius Malema said on the 20th of November last year outside the State Capture Inquiry. He accused Gordhan, for example, of hating Africans. He claimed that Gordhan was removing African professionals from state-owned enterprises. He referred to Gordhan as being part of a cabal. He didn't name the demographic of that cabal, but in submissions here in court last week, Gordhan's counsel inferring that that was a reference to the UDF Indian cabal, as it were, and that being a reference to Gordhan's race, really, and his cultural background, his cultural profile. Malema also accused Gordhan of being the dog of white monopoly capital, but as Advocate Tembeka Nlukai-Tobi argued for Malema, the racial label there is for monopoly capital and not for the dog. Nlukai-Tobi also arguing, as Malema has done, that the use of the term dog is bandied about by politicians in the sort of rigor of debate that politicians engage in. And one of the most prominent sort of thrusts of the argument of Nlukai-Tobi last week Thursday was that this was Malema's personal attack on Pravin Gordhan. Malema was disclosing his opinion Gordhan when he made those utterances outside the State Capture Inquiry, and it wasn't a reference to a collective. It didn't refer to people with immutable qualities in a group as defined by Section 10 of the Equality Act. So there was a lot of debate last week about the terms, the immutable qualities listed in Section 10 of the Equality Act, and whether or not what Malema had said last November fall within those realms. Sutherland saying today that's not so. The comments may have been hateful. They don't meet the bar in terms of the Equality Act, and therefore Gordhan's application is dismissed. This is another win for the EFF after its success in the SANEF EFF matter on relatively similar grounds.
And how was this success received by people like Godrich Gadi that were in court and other members of EFF? What kind of reaction did you observe?
Well, if I observe court now, Gadi seems to be the only person in a red beret here right now. No sign of Pravin Gordhan or his team here in court. The matter was handed down so quickly, Dan, that it was difficult to really assess any reaction. And as you can see, Gadi of the EFF holding the judgment there, I imagine he will want to review it before issuing any comment. And we know, of course, that many MPs, the likes of Gordhan and Malema, are likely to be in Parliament today in the wake of the budget speech yesterday. So in terms of getting reaction, in terms of getting that much needed comment on this important judgment, we'll have to look to Parliament.
Yes, and maybe before he leaves that courtroom, Godrich Gadi can give you a comment or two, even though he hasn't studied the full judgment yet, which you also need to do. Thank you very much, Erin Bates, coming to us live from the Equality Court that was sitting in the South Gauteng High Court here in Johannesburg. In case you've just joined us, the court has dismissed Pravin Gordhan's application against Julius Malema, saying it is not really hate speech. It's not within the ambit of the Equality Act, although what might have been said by Malema against Pravin Gordhan or about Pravin Gordhan might be hateful. It doesn't constitute hate speech. That's the latest developing story we have for you. I'm sure there'll be more analysis throughout the day here on ENC, being the second case of hate speech that the EFF has won in the Equality Court. The other one was against the South African National Editors Forum, SANEF. Now,